What up, fam? This is A2D Wednesday nights on a Friday. Come talk some Eagles with us. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and giddy up.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Here we go. When's that going to go off? Thank you. Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, but it's on a Friday. Every Wednesday, this time of Friday, we are brought to you by FanUp, and FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D. You get $50 right at sign up. You can download FanUp right on the Apple Store. No Chrome, no Frank, no Greg, no Noah, Ralph Delvecchio, Ryan Brodo. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in. We'll give you our locks of the week at the end of the show. NFL Week 13 predictions. We go through the whole slate of games, and then we give you locks. Then we dabble with our locks after that. Our main topic at hand, Eagles, Titans preview. Feel like we got a dog fight this Sunday, boys. So we got a dog fight. What'd you say?
Said a big one, huh?
A big one. It feels like a big one. And it ties into our poll question brought to you by BOAGGIO'S Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Go in there before the game. Get yourself some goodies. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your in-store purchase. The home of the best stuffed breads, tomatoes, pies, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs, everything, desserts. They got everything for your Sunday. They got everything for every day. But go use our promo code A2D and get 10% off your in-store purchase. Our poll question for tonight. Oh, I didn't see it yet. It's the first time of me seeing it. The Eagles will have a double-digit win over the Titans this Sunday. Agree or disagree? Let us know. YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the follow. Join the conversation. Come talk some birds with us. We'll be down at the tailgate on Sunday. All right, the Hurts So Good tailgate, Lot G of the Wells Fargo Center. Come down, $35 wristbands, all you can eat, all you can drink, and come talk some sports with us. All right, come dabble. Come dabble. But to this poll, I disagree. And not because we're not double-digit better necessarily. It's because, like, Mike Vrabel coach teams are tough. They're physical. They stay in games, right? They're the type of teams we know, right? They usually, I feel like they don't get blown out too often. At least not from, they do. Like, everybody gets really smacked in the face. But for them, they're always in dogfights. They're always tough, right? And even when they're missing guys, they're still tough. Or they lose guys, they're still tough. When that happens, which tells me as a coaching staff, you put in a culture, right? You put in a little bit of a culture of the way we go about things here. And we might not look the flashiest and look the best, right? But we're gonna come in there and we're gonna take every punch you got and we're gonna fight in every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever day you want to play on. They're gonna show up and fight. So I disagree. We'll get into score predictions, players of the game. We want, obviously, our family out there. Give us yours. Chance to win $200 Venmo, Cash App, whatever you got, you nail the score. If we got a tie, goes to offense, defensive player of the game. They're the tiebreakers. They're the tiebreakers, people. So comment in, let us know. But to this, I disagree. We're a really good football team, and a really good football team finds a way to win Sunday. That doesn't necessarily matter, right? I know it doesn't matter to you guys how we win. It doesn't matter to me how we win. Just give me another win. And if you give me a win Sunday, and you're in a dog fight, and all Sunday is this constant freaking, they're winding up punches. All right, winding up the punch each other, and you get out of that with a win. It says a lot about your football team. Mm-hmm. It does. It really does. And I think we've seen a lot about this football team, and me and Ryan have talked about it a bunch, but they've checked off a ton of boxes. Is there more boxes? Sure, there's always some more boxes you can check off. But man, this would bode well for everybody that says they don't beat anybody. They don't beat anybody. Even though we beat everybody, right? We just beat everybody. So, I mean, calling them teams nobodies, but we beat everybody. That being said, Sunday's is another little check. Here's another good football team that we beat. I don't care where the game's played at. So I'm excited for Sunday. I'm excited because I don't really know how it's going to go. Right? I don't know. We could lose this football game. As of Friday, which never happens, I have zero feel besides this football game is going to be close. I got no feel. I don't know if I'm alone. Thank God Ryan raised his hands.
No.
I got no feel, and it's not because I moved and all this other crazy stuff. It's because you always have a feel for your sports teams, right? Mm-hmm. But I have none. I thought it was just me because it's a weird week. We could easily lose Sunday, and then it's gonna be panic meter 1,000,000, right? Everybody's gonna be jumping off the wall, or we're in a close game, and we get a Jake Elliott leg to win us a football game, maybe. All right, maybe something like that, which is like people say that all the time, but in reality, it doesn't happen too often. Right, but maybe we're in one of those types of games. I just can't see a double-digit blowout win unless that double-digit 10 comes from on a last drive. Right, you're up 3 and you go on a drive. Sure, I could see that, but when I think double-digit, I think of more of hey, I controlled this football game the whole time. Not that we're not good enough to; they're going to control it as well. So I disagree, boys. Tell me if anybody out there has a better feel. Then obviously you saw Ryan's reaction. Me, Rye, we'll wait for Ralphie's. But if anybody has a better feel than that, please enlighten me. I need to hear it. I need you guys to talk me off of the no-feel ledge.
Well, I reacted like that, and it's funny because that's literally what I was going to lead off with. And it's not because, to your point, I feel like I have a pretty good feel for, our football team. I think we have a good idea of what to expect, what not to expect on both sides of the ball. I can't figure out this Tennessee team. I really can't, because there's things I really like about him. Mike Vrabel, obviously, I think he's one of the better coaches in the NFL. Obviously, you have to like Derrick Henry. They do things really well. I think they're a tough team. They're a physical team. They're a team where, a couple days afterwards, it's okay, you're still feeling it. It's one of those games, you know what I'm saying? An old school Ravens game, an old school Steelers team where it's oh, okay. Maybe there's some residual effects. They're a team, for example, and we talked about it on Monday when we were giving our little, way too early preview for the game. They don't score that much. They have a hard time scoring. They average just over 18 points a game scoring, which is, I believe it's 26th in the NFL in scoring offense. They don't give up that many points. They give up around 18 points. So it's pretty much, an even wash right there. Their passing defense isn't great, and they're also banged up, and they're young in their secondary. They don't give up anything running the football, which is going to be interesting because that's obviously what we do really well and probably our strength, which is, moving and shaking with the football, whether it's a running back or whether it's a quarterback. But it's am I afraid of a team that is quarterbacked by Ryan Tannehill? No. And a wide receiver core, which, their best receivers are Treylon Burks, who's a rookie, and Robert Woods, who I like Robert Woods, but he's not the same Robert Woods from the Rams. At least he hasn't really shown that, at least this season, coming off of his injury from last year. But when Mike Vrabel, it's one of those things where, and it's probably more of a respect to Vrabel. They do not get blown out in games, except for obviously the Buffalo game, which I would say that's more of a credit to Buffalo, because when Buffalo is on, they win big. They're kind of, a swing type team where they're either playing down a competition or when they win, they blow out a team by 20 plus. It's weird, man, because having Jordan Davis back is obviously going to be a plus if he does play. Them not having Danico Autry, who is one of their biggest sacks leader over on the Titans, he's not going to be there. That's a plus for us. I think, honestly, and we'll touch on it throughout the show, for everybody out there complaining about, oh, you can't win that way running, a bunch of times, and Hurts running for over 150 and Miles running for 150. Well, I think this is going to be the game for you. And I don't know what the hell their game plan is going to be, because while I think Shane Steichen does a good job, there's times where I'm dude, there's no way you have any idea of what you're doing, because it doesn't make any sense. There's no game plan. We're just kind of winging it. I think this is a game because of the mismatch with our wide receiver weapons to their secondary, their very young secondary. I think this is going to be a game where it's kind of, hey, we're going to try and pass the football and get up early and try to sustain a lead, because I think that's also going to try and counteract. I don't think they ever go away from Derrick Henry. That is their offense, right? To where they could be down 20 and they're still running Derrick Henry right down our throats. But I think it's going to be hey, let's get a 10, maybe 14-point lead early. That way, if they're running the football, they are inadvertently kind of hurting themselves because they're killing some clock. I think this is going to be a really stressful game. This was from the very beginning of the season. This was circled in my calendar as probably one of, if not our hardest home game. And again, that might sound weird because Tannehill's not great. The receivers aren't great. The health situations for them aren't great, but situationally, I think it's going to be really, really close.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not weird because if you watch football, you know that Mike Vrabel coach teams are tough no matter how they look, and they're going to be competitive. But that's who they are. But I don't. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't. None of it matters. Like how good we are, who they are. We all know how Sundays go. They're weird. Sundays are weird. Everything we're talking about, both of us said, could be completely the opposite. That's why we don't have a feel. And even more so because they're just tough. They're tough, and we're tough. If you look at us, you say that's a well-coached football team. That's a really good football team. You look at Tennessee. Now we have a lot of talent, and right to go on top of it. I think what you said is their lack thereof. I think that's why we both agree that they're going to come up on the short end when you talk about Titans. I mean, listen, we couldn't blow Tennessee longer. We just spent about 6 minutes. Literally, we just gave Mike Vrabel like 2 hand jobs apiece.
We just gave him Coach of the Year. We just gave him Coach of the Year.
Yeah. Ralph, please remove our hands.
I wish, but no. Listen,
good to have you.
Listen, I it's a clean sweep. I think it's a disagree for me. It's a disagree for me as well. I mean, like you said, Tommy, and you said, Ryan, they're a tough football team, but also they're a 7-4 football team to the point where they have a lot of guys banged up. If you go look at that IR and that injury report, you're like, Jesus Christ, how are these guys 7-4? But it seems like every week they're always right there with teams, right? And obviously, Derrick Henry was banged up a little bit to start the year for them and got off to a slow start. But now it seems like he's back to where he was. Also, 0.7. There you go.
Sorry, Ralphie. It's not 7, it's 0.7. Go ahead.
There you go. But no, the Titans have always been it seems like the Titans have always been a dogfight team to where, even if they weren't good, one of these years, they were always going to give you their best shot. And they've always been like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if come Sunday we win by 4 points or we win by 3 points, and or we, like you said, Tommy, it comes down to Jake Elliott kicking a game-winning field goal for us. But I
make your money, Jake.
Yeah,
please.
right.
We'd
right.
love to have you.
But I'll go disagree. I don't think we blow them out or win by double digits by any matter.
Yeah, and I think that's fair, and I think that should be really everybody's take on it, right? Now we start putting hypothetical guns to each other's heads, right? And we start saying, well, okay, I need a score prediction from people, right? And that's where we really start to see what people think. Now, I would venture to guess the majority of score predictions that are going to come in here are going to favor the Eagles, but I'm sort of curious to see if people get a little cute, like if people are smelling blowout. I sort of want to see where people are. I want to see how much of the public really feels like that we can get a double-digit win, and we can beat them. I don't know if we can beat them 31-17, right? Or which is a really feel comfortable win, right? Or 34-17. That we have the ability to go do that again, right? We just put up 40. Are we going to be able to do that again? That's what I would like to see, because that would be really telling in terms of the Eagles, right, guys? Like if the Eagles come out and say, "Oh, what last week this wasn't a little dog and pony show." This is what we can do consistently. And a second week becomes a little bit more of a trend or something. So I would love to see them come out and put up 30 plus again, because that's what they usually have done this year. They're usually in that 28 over. I don't know what their points per game is, but you feel like the majority of their times they can score pretty easily 28 plus. I feel like the Eagles, they've had some, obviously you have a game or two where you don't bring down your points per game, right? But I feel like overall, that's sort of where they're at. Right, when they're going well.
Well, I'll tell you actually. I probably should have said this earlier because I literally have all the numbers right in front of me, so I can tell you if you're correct. All right, NFL team points per game. They are ranked 3rd in the NFL, and they are averaging 27.5 points per game.
Jesus Christ. No notes.
No, get out of my head. I was just going to say this.
I would rather you said it first. Look, I'm giving myself a handy.
I was 2 seconds behind you. My bad.
MPD. I don't want to make it seem like I'm giving myself a handy. I don't want to get this too out of whack here tonight. See, Umberto's a guy 31-21. I think this is a weak Umberto, though, because there's two ways of looking at this. As you're trying to get a feel of talking about it, right? I know how good Tennessee is. I almost feel like this is a week where your defense has to show dominance. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't want to see over 14. Like, I really don't want to see over 14. Like, I want to see you dominate an inferior opponent to me. Because if you tackle Derrick Henry doesn't break tackles around the line of scrimmage as great as he is. When he gets a crease, there ain't a linebacker or a corner that wants to tango. That's how it works.
Especially for four quarters straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's been talked about a lot that, like, D linemen get hands on him, right? He'll come down a lot easier, which every guy would, right? The difference from Henry and a lot of other running backs is the second level is a lot of soup. I don't want no parts of that guy, right? And you can't blame the linebacker who are big guys, and you can't blame corners and safeties because he's a monster. So if we get hands on him and our defensive front's able to play well, this should be a game you should be able to dominate. Yeah. This should be, when you really want to sit down and think about it, like, this is a game you should be able to win 31-17. I don't even want to give up more than 17, but I'll give them 17 if I'm scoring 30 again. But what I would like to see is, because I think our offense is good enough, right? I think we all agree there, right? Mm-hmm. Our offense is always going to score. The numbers speak for it. But can the defense come in and put up a shutout? Are they capable, not a shutout, but a 10 or less? Are they capable to have that kind of dominant performance where, okay, I'm not expecting anybody to shut you out like you're 85 Bears, but can you hold a team 10 or less?
Yeah, I mean, kind of what Philly Sports with Bake is saying. He says, I have the Birds 13-10. I think this is a very tough game, similar to the Rams-Pats Super Bowl in 2019. Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy because you look at both sides and, people panicking last week about, you ran the ball too much. You can't throw the ball anymore. Like, people, like, on the dial, literally, like, I just switched to Christmas music because people were like, this passing game has reverted back to last year. It's like, did we lose like the last 5 weeks? Like, I don't see it like us reverting back to last year with the passing game. I think it's literally the quarterback taking what the defense gives them. And when the defense is like, we're not going to cover half the field and we're going to let a mobile quarterback run for 55 yards. Okay, I'm going to do that instead of trying to, fill in a spot, throw a ball in between a window. Like, I think that's common sense, but whatever. With all the concern surrounding the offense by people and like, there's no Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown's fumbling. And the O-line might not be, 100% what it was or we expected to just because Mailata hasn't been great or whatever. All my concerns for this week is on the defense. And it's not even just like stopping Derrick Henry. Is Reed Blankenship a guy or is he a guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he somebody that's going to actually be better than Kayvon Wallace for a couple games, or is he kind of just like a one-game wonder like he was this past week? Because that could very easily.
He's probably a guy. If you're an undrafted free agent, you're probably just a guy. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean you can't be good enough to fill into a role for say 5 weeks, right? But you're probably just a guy. Now, I would love for him to prove us wrong that he's more than just a guy, but that goes to where you're drafted, right? Not to saying people were going to come in the comments. I can feel it happening. That like, you know how good he was in college. Yeah, I know he was a good college player. All right, it's a different game. A lot of guys that get drafted or undrafted were good college players. All right, like a ton of guys who get drafted and then go undrafted. You look up a name and say that guy was a good college player. That guy had accolades in college at different points of his career. Right? Okay, but it's a different game. It's a different speed. So is he good enough for that? And when you're talking about being a safety in the NFL, okay, you picked off Rodgers. That's a huge accomplishment. But I'm not saying you're going to do what CJ was doing and have 5 picks in 5 weeks, right? But can you be serviceable? And the bigger thing, can you tackle well enough? Because I don't know how good of a cover guy he is, but it looked like he had no problem getting his beak up in it, and I'm a big fan of that. Listen, can he be serviceable? But the problem is like, even with him, there's so much talent. Even losing CJ, that there's no excuse. Like, is Avante coming back this week or is he another week?
No, he's back next week.
Yeah, he's back next week.
Either way, no rush for any of these guys. We talk about it all the time, right? We're in a great spot. But even without the losses, if you look over who's playing and who you're playing against, There's no excuse not to dominate defensively this week.
Well, especially with Davis. You know what I'm saying? With Davis coming back. And again, it's not...
Which is huge for the run game.
Yeah, he's a guy who can actually tackle because, as we all know with Derrick Henry, you can't let him get to the second level. You got to stop him right in the first couple yards. If not, he's, especially the way some of our linebackers and safeties attempt to tackle, you're not bringing him down. Nobody's bringing him down. It doesn't matter if you're a good tackler or not.
No, you can have a great defensive front and he can still find the hole because you're going against a good offensive line, right? So, I mean, not as good as they were, but they have a pretty good scheme and system for the most part. So you're going against, other pros. So there's going to be holes there once in a while. But can our linebackers, our linebackers like TJ, who I think is willing, is he coming up and sticking that hole? And if he does, we're in good shape.
Well, I mean, again, paint me as a broken record, and I'm not the only one who said this with a Jonathan Gannon, run defense, but this is an offensive line that is banged up because they don't have Taylor Lewan. And Taylor Lewan, this is, obviously when you lose somebody of that talent, you're not going to be the same offensive line, but you got to be aggressive against a guy like Tannehill, right? You can't let him sit back in the pocket like you did with Heineke and some of these other quarterbacks. Because the thing is, if you're just going to let, play kind of sticks defense and kind of just take whatever you're getting, Tannehill's not somebody that's going to cough up the football. He's only thrown 3 picks all year, I believe. And because I think the fourth one, I think if you look at the Titans' interceptions this year, it was 4. But I think one of them was by like one of their receivers on like a trick play. So he's somebody just like Jalen Hurts who does not cough up the football.
Did Malik throw any?
That could have been one.
But no, he used to, the funny thing about him, he used to fumble a lot, I feel like. He's really cleaned his life up. All right. Yes. He really has. And when you have a running back like that and they take it out of your hands a little bit, you're able to clean your life up. Because to me, he isn't bad throwing the football.
No.
He just doesn't have a lot to go there with down there. Now, people will say last year he did, and that's false because AJ was hurt at times. Julio was hurt. And wasn't
Julio couldn't even stay healthy last year.
Yeah, so I mean,
he was Jim Jones. That was Jim Jones.
Yeah, and he's Jim Jones again this year, even though he is essentially healthy. But you look at those things and you're like, that guy's really not had ever a lot around him outside of the running back. But when he's playing into his system, he's proven to be a really good quarterback inside the system in terms of turning the football over and helping you stay in games, right? Because if you don't turn it over, you're in a lot of games around the National Football League, like everybody is. If there's teams like if I'm a head coach and I get a coaching job tomorrow, I'm saying, listen, guys, all we have to do, and I know everybody said this to you before, but I'm promising you something. I'm promising you want to be a playoff team, just don't turn the football over. It's as simple as that. Like if you're top 5 in terms of not turning the football over, right? I almost can book that you're a playoff team. Almost book it. If you're top 5 and not turning it over. We'll talk to the defense about getting some takeaways, but I'm talking to you guys about not turning the football over. And it's something like you said, right? Jalen's done a tremendous job with. We'll probably jinx him here with this, but he's done a tremendous job with, and that shows you around the league when guys do that. When guys do that and take care of the football, your offense looks better and your defense is better, and you win a lot of football games. Umberto, real quick, because I just want to. Before we get to Blankenship, somebody said, I think it's long. I hope I didn't lose it. Bobby had a little off topic. Off topic, gentlemen. The Grom breaking news, obviously going to the Texas Rangers. This gives the Phillies opportunity to now win. Sign Turner, Rodon. Now, can I get an agreement? Yeah, I mean, I'll take both of those guys. But, I think anytime Jacob deGrom leads your division, you're better. Now, the Mets long-term are better for not signing him because there's been injuries, right? They've never hit for him. But the guy's a stud, but he's older. I wouldn't give him that money at this point of his career. But that's Rangers are trying to win. They did spend a ton of money on Seager. Yeah, so I respect that they're trying to win because that's a baseball town. Like Texas Rangers, like Rangers fans love their baseball. So, I'll give them that. But no, it's a great signing for Ranger Nation per se. It's a tough day in New York, obviously, and I hate to say it.
Yeah,
but if you're just sitting on the outside of it, that's money. That's almost money well spent for the future for New York, not the next 2 years.
What if now? And I said this to Ralphie. Listen, Bobby, I would love those two guys. I think Turner will be here next Sunday, probably next Monday. During the winter meetings. I think it's going to be Turner. I'd be shocked if it's not. I'll take any of them, obviously. I think as any of all of us are, one of the four. I think this now opens up the Mets to get Rodon, if I'm being honest. I'm not rooting for it, but I think that's very plausible.
Well, they're going to spend money. So they as soon as he walks out the door, they're going to spend it somewhere. But no, I mean, and they lose Chris Bassett too. I mean, they lost some
Did they lose Bassett? Did they lose Bassett?
I'm pretty sure Bassett's a free agent.
I thought they brought him back on they redid they didn't officially bring him back, but I thought they were in negotiations or something.
They might have been, but I just don't think he got signed yet. You know what I mean?
Okay. If Bassett's out there, I want Bassett, please.
No, I mean I like Bassett too. He's solid. He probably won't cost you a ton. But listen, we got plenty of time to talk baseball. Through the as the winter meetings, I believe start next week.
Mm-hmm.
Officially.
But either way, it was a good day for all NL East teams, honestly, except for the Mets with Jacob deGrom leaving.
Absolutely. It might be better for the Mets down the road. But in the next 2 years, because what's DeGrom? DeGrom's older, man. DeGrom
31, I want to say.
I think he's a little older than that, right?
Let me see. I won't. Let me try not to pull Greg here.
He's 34.
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
That's what I'm saying. That deal doesn't make sense. 5 years.
5 years. That runs him to 39.
39-year-old Jacob deGrom. Oh my God. That guy might play once a year.
I mean, that's hoping it's a Verlander, right? You get this guy forever. This guy's just good until he's. Oh, that's not a foul. And the Sixers are tough to watch. This guy's good forever. But listen, I wouldn't. Like I said, I wouldn't have given that deal if I'm New York. No. But he's probably got. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say what he has left in the tank, but I think you could book. He's got at least another 2.
Yeah. 100%.
So all right, back to Eagles. I know there was another one talking about. Let me find the Blankenship. It was there underneath. Oh, it's up. Okay. I'm burnt out. What up, my brother? He said, I'm actually excited to see if we have a good young prospect in Reed Blankenship. Yeah, I don't know how you call I love it, but I don't know how you call it. I can't even call him a prospect right now. You know what I mean? Because when you're undrafted, that was a good shot, by the way. When you're undrafted, I mean, you got to prove you can play. You're not a prospect. You're a prospect if you just get drafted. If you just get drafted, you're a prospect. If you're undrafted, it's a
Jesus.
You got to climb the ladder here. You know what I mean? You got to prove it.
Your road is a lot longer than if you were going to get drafted in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round. You know what I mean? But
your expectations and road for me is, hey, Reed, don't suck today. That's all I need. Don't be Kayvon Wallace today.
Losing CJ is going to hurt big time.
I am as worried as I was a few weeks ago about losing Avante and then Davis and then Dallas. You can times that all by 3 with losing Gardner Johnson just because of the turnover differential.
Yeah, he's got 6 picks this year.
Yeah,
and what was
5 in a row.
Yeah, 5 weeks in a row with a pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thank God it's not season ending.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's important. That's important to me because if it's season ending, then it really kills you. And knowing that you get Jordan Davis back, you get Avante back, even though he's at least not season ending with him. We talked about this, right? He almost can get his body right a little bit too, right? In terms of he was dealing with the hand, right, or the wrist. He was dealing with something too. So now he might have 5-6 weeks to really heal up body wise and even be fresher for the postseason, right? And it's not like he didn't fit in here. He knows the scheme now. He knows the system. He's in meetings still, right? All those things still happen. So it's not like you're away from the team. You know what I mean? You're not dying in a hospital bed. You're with your teammates. You're just hurt, right? You just can't play. Same thing with Avante. Avante's been right every meeting unless he's getting treatment. So it's treatment meetings, right? And that's what you do. But, I'm actually grateful that okay, dude, you got hurt and that's a tough injury, right? But he's not season ending. Dallas wasn't season ending. That's the important thing. As long as when you're 10-1, you can deal with a guy out 3 weeks. You can deal with a guy out 4 weeks. You know what I mean? Just are you ready by at least week 17 or at worst first round? And we might have a bye. And we might have a bye. If we have a bye, it's another week. Yeah. I mean, come on.
It's the Robert Quinn thing that everybody's bitching about on Twitter today. It's a bust pick. Listen, do I like what I've seen? No, because we haven't seen anything, right? I think we saw an offsides call. That's the only time we've heard his name. But honestly, we got him for a run in the playoffs. That's what we got him for. It was, hey, be better than Teron Jackson or Teron Johnson or whoever the guy was that we cut that was the defensive lineman, and fill the snaps that Derek Barnett was running in. That's it. And if you get a couple plays from him in the playoffs, great. I know it's a 4th round pick, but listen,
can we stop it? Can we stop it? Hold on. Can we stop it? Not you. Can we stop it, people with 4th round freaking picks? Like, we care. We got 2 firsts. We got 2 firsts right now. We're right about a 4th.
We might make the playoffs and have a top 5 pick.
I mean, are we okay? Ryan is like more mad about this stuff than anybody, because I'm not saying that you can't get value later. All right. But I would rather have 2 first-round picks every year than having picked round 2nd to the 7th. Just give me 2 first-round picks every year, and I don't need the other guys. You know what I mean? I don't need the other guys. Just give me a discount price that I can pay both of these guys, because I don't want to get locked into that kind of money, right? Because the later round picks are cheaper. But outside of that, just give me 2 firsts. Give me 2 firsts in the 3rd, and I'm good every year. I don't need anything else. Anything else.
For argument's sake, right? Because I know I can hear people typing, "Oh, guys, that could be a steal. That could be a big time pick." It can, but also it's the Eagles. Okay, it's the Eagles. Let me just read to you the last 5 years of 4th round picks for us. Okay, and you tell us, "Oh, okay, is that guy big? Is that guy a major factor?" So this past year, didn't have a 4th round pick. Anybody complain? No. Last year, Zech McPherson, special teams player of the week 1. But other than that, really?
Cool.
The year before, Kayvon Wallace.
Dawkins.
Yeah.
Jack Driscoll, rotational depth lineman.
Yeah, I don't mind Jack.
But fine.
Shut the fuck up. Go ahead.
Year prior, Sharif Miller. Did he play? No. Does he still exist?
No. There's the steal. There's the steal. Stealing money. You know what I mean? The fact that guy even got any type of money. He's stealing money. Just give me a 2 firsts and a 3rd every goddamn year, and I'll clean up. I don't need to worry about anything else. It's 3 picks like that every year. If you just gave a team 2 every year and they opted out of their other ones, you're not telling me that team's not awesome. That team's going to be better than the team that had 42 picks because they got a dry jock running things and an analytical nerd, right, running shit. We'll be better than a team with 30 picks in the draft. A team can have 30 picks. We'll give you 30 picks from the 4th on, right? And we'll take what we said, 2 firsts. Who do you think makes out better?
Probably us. We'll probably us with a 2 first.
Oh, here we go, Don. We're not telling you, all right, Don? We're not going to sit here and tell you that guys weren't drafted late rounds that are awesome, okay? Tom Brady, best quarterback of all time, okay? Drafted pretty late. They're there, but they're harder to hit. They're harder. It's almost easier early. Early, unless you reach early, you have less chances of making a mistake. If you don't reach early and get a little reach around and you just draft best player available, you'll be in good shape as an organization.
I have a perfect response to Don. And Don, we're not yelling. We're just passionately talking. Okay, we'll just say that. They took Alvin Kamara in the 4th. You know who we took in the 4th that year? And it's funny because it's the next year I was going to read. Donnell Pumphrey. Heard of him? Probably not.
Oh, well, he was the next coming too. People thought he was Kamara.
Yes. We beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee.
Thank you, Lakers. Well done. Thank you.
Oh man.
Mac Hollins, we also took in the 4th round that year. And then the year prior, we didn't have a 4th. Year prior, we didn't have a 4th. And the year prior, we had a guy named Jalen Watkins. And the year prior, we had Matt Barkley. So the only pick that was even somewhat beneficial in the 4th round in the recent Howie Roseman regime was in 2018 with Josh Sweat. And even then, not a superstar.
Yeah, I'm going to tell anybody that cares that much about rounds 4 that disagrees with that comment. For rounds 4, you can have 30. 30 is aggressive. You can have 15 picks in rounds 4 through 7, and I'll take 2 firsts. And I'll outdo every analytical nerd in the country. And if you think there's more value with option 1 than option 2, unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. Click it off. Actually, I'm joking. Never unsubscribe. We can differ in opinions. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you're just joining us. Still love you. Even if you are a dry jock, even if you need baby powder to get your thing cleaned up under there, right? No matter what you need, you're wearing khakis, you're wearing khakis in the office. A lot of. We've all seen Moneyball. We know how it goes. But you still gotta know talent.
MBD BDBF. Thank you. It's a beautiful film, actually. I love it.
I thought that's what I laughed at when he said he had more notes than Roswell Crowd.
Yeah. Great actor. Listen, a lot of awards. I appreciate it.
No, Jalen. I mean, no Philly sports with Bake. I despise Jalen Reagor still to this day. And that actually, I was going through my phone because there's just constant whenever they come out with a new one, right? All of a sudden your storage is full, right? All of a sudden you can't even take a picture. Like, what happened? So I was going through deleting a lot earlier on, and I actually saw the video from that pick. Again, it was saved. It was saved in my notes.
It aged beautifully for some of us. Others not.
Yes, some will never live it down. You know what I mean? And listen, when you stamp yourself to it, it happens. It happens to all of us. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's been over my 35 plus years of watching Eagles football. I'm sure we drafted a guy. Actually, I don't know how many first round misses that I'm like, oh, I love that guy and he stinks. Like where I'm freaking out. But there's probably a couple, I'm sure. It's just the way it goes. It's not always easy.
No, I don't think so. The only one where I think of, and this is more of like a you, Wilson, and Sweeps thing, is the Marcus Smith thing, but you're never like, you loved him. You're just like, hey, can we get a first round pick some playing time?
Yeah, like find out what we have. I mean, can he get after the quarterback a little bit? I mean, just let him play. If he stinks, he stinks.
That's clear indicator that.
I didn't run around loving the pick when he was drafted, though. Like,
no,
you know what I mean? Like,
you weren't jumping around in hotel rooms.
No, I'm talking about on draft night when you have reactions to guys. That's where it haunts you. Like if Devontae Smith stunk, right, or didn't show its growth, I'd be in trouble. You understand? Because I said gold jacket. Now, is he ever going to be a gold jacket? I don't know. But he's very good. He's very good. Very good. But you would have said, Tom, would you rather have Micah? Well, listen, if Tom was drafted, this would have never came about. You understand? Because Tom would have taken Justin Jefferson with 100 catches in the SEC, and then guess who falls on Tom's lap? Now Micah falls on Tommy's lap. Right? Now Tommy's got Mike and Justin. Feeling pretty good about my organization, right? So I'll take the 2 first round picks every year, and y'all nerds can take the rest. The rest are for you guys to fight over and chew over, right? Share with your friends. Share late round dry jock picks with your friends. Share them around. It's like a buffet table.
Umberto, that's actually a great question because if we remember when he was healthy, guy didn't play that much either, which we obviously screamed about on every show. Like he was like, Tui, I forget his first name, but Tui Pelotu was out snapping him for a few weeks. Who's now on the IR, so we don't have to worry about him out snapping him. But I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know if they use him as like not a decoy because you don't want to play with a decoy when you have Derrick Henry on the other side of the field. But I don't know. It's interesting. But regardless, you have a good problem at your hands because now it's not just like Jordan Davis and Fletch. It's Jordan Davis, Fletch, Linval, and Adamakin. So it's a good problem to have. So where it's like, oh, you have legitimate guys on the field no matter what. Unless Jonathan Gannon really goes rogue and he has some of these guys playing cornerback and dropping back in coverage, which you never know.
Well, I think playing a little Milton Williams on the edge actually could benefit this football team a little bit since you have a lot more in the middle now to work through. And if you're creative, that should be a 5-second. If you're creative, what you do is you put him on the edge because he's a little beefier and could help your edge rush defense a little bit more than let's say a Sweat at times, which is probably your weakest one. But now you don't have Robert Quinn. So, that would be the guy that I sort of work on the DN side of it, where I think on rush downs, which you think Tennessee's a lot of, right? I would definitely sprinkle him in for Brandon and Sweat because I think the more beef you can get up there, like we talk about no Taylor Lewan over there either, the more beef you can get up front in a game like this, I think it bodes well for you because they're going to have to run the football. Because at the end of the day, this is a game where if I'm a coordinator, I say I'm manning the country. You understand? I'm manning everybody. I'm going to man you as soon as you walk in. Right? Mike Vrabel, as soon as you walk in, I'm up in you. I'm up in you. As soon as you walk in Lincoln Financial. That's the kind of game you're in this week. No, if you're scared of somebody this week, I mean, my goodness gracious, you need a bigger dog than I got. I mean, you need a freaking, you need a lion. You need a lion protecting you. You're so scared. All right. So man up. And I'm not always telling you to do this, but man up, bump and run this week and make them have to throw the football to beat you. You load the box up, get as much beef up front as you can and say, well, you have to throw the football to beat us this week. And it's easier said than done, but we have a lot of money up front on this defense.
Yep.
And I don't want to keep having this conversation anymore. You know?
I agree with Philly Bake. He says, honestly, I think Tennessee's most underrated player is Austin Hooper. Yeah, I mean, the guy's just a pro.
I think the most underrated players are quarterback.
Could be.
You know, because he's always just been like, and he still is. He's just like, I think he's just solid. I think he's good. I think if he had a lot more around him, like explosive playmakers, you know, he'll get him the football. He had no problem getting AJ the football.
No, he did not.
You know what I mean? And I know AJ's always open, but Tannehill's got some zippy doodah, right, Ralphie? I mean, it's not like he can't throw the football.
You know, so this is kind of my theory with this defense, and it's kind of like what we talked about when we played Jacksonville. It seems like the Jacksonville game was like 3 years ago in the monsoon, but we went into that game saying, "Hey, we're not going to be able to run on Jacksonville's defense," because at the time, even if it was a small sample size, nobody, like they had faced like Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor, you couldn't run on him. I think they had played like DeAndre Swift and the Lions couldn't run on him. And what did we do? We went and we played Jacksonville and we ran all over them. And a key point, what we were talking about, which we ended up being right with, how, maybe we can run on, a very good run, rush defense, which obviously Tennessee is. They're a top 3 rush defense in the NFL, is Jalen Hurts. And to kind of confirm that, I went through what quarterbacks has Tennessee faced, right? Because we know, okay, it's one thing to have to try and stop Sanders and Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell, even though I don't know why Kenny Gainwell is on the field as much as he is. But it's another thing to have to worry about, hey, there's a guy named Jalen Hurts who's basically a running back who's allowed to throw the ball. And that's not a shot at him either, because I know some people say that's like, oh, you call a quarterback a running back, that's a shot. So you look at it, okay, they faced Daniel Jones. They lost by a point. Gave up 21. They played the Bills and they gave up 41 points. And I remember watching that game, and Josh Allen, Ralphie, if you want to actually pull up just to confirm, can you find how many rushing yards Josh Allen had in that game again in week 2 against the Titans? Because I feel like Josh Allen got out of the pocket a little bit. So they struggled in that sense. Derek Carr, he's not mobile. Matt Ryan, no. I guess this was Carson Wentz before Heineke. No, we know what Carson is. Back to Matt Ryan, Davis Mills, Mahomes, who they went to overtime with Mahomes, and they only gave up 20. Russell Wilson, who he's not mobile at all anymore. Aaron Rodgers, and then Joe Burrow. So it could be a whole nother situation where it's like, hey, Jalen Hurts, while I think they're going to try and, get up early and run, and throw the football, Jalen Hurts being that weapon could change everything. Because there's only so much you can do to stop him, or at least try to stop him.
Yeah, I don't want him actually be a walk. I don't want him looking to run the football all the time.
No.
But if you're not looking to run in spots, we've said it for years, like a guy who can move, and you got teams in 3rd and 9 and you got everything covered, right? You got the perfect defense on, and that guy extends a play for 4 or 5 seconds longer, right? Or 2 seconds longer. And next thing you know, he's on the run. And he goes and picks up a first down with his legs, or he extends the pocket and makes his throw on the run, right, to an open guy. Like, those kinds of things kill defenses, because then you're like, dude, we had everything covered. Like, yeah. What else can we do? This guy's just going to continue to do this because he's not a run first guy, though, even though he runs a lot. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. He's still trying to throw the football.
He's taking what the defense gives him. It's not like, it's not. This is why people, again, they look at the stats and they can't differentiate. Last year, it was clear one read and go. It's not like that anymore. It's really not. On plays where it calls for it, sure, but it's Like the first play of the season, I don't know if you guys remember this. The first play when we played the Lions, it was literally a design run for Jalen Hurts at the top of the screen. And I remember texting Ralph being like, oh, or it might have been in the group chat. And I was like, oh, okay, we're still with this one read and look thing. And that's like the last time I really saw it. Like there's times where it's a design run. Like, I think obviously the game against Indianapolis where the seas parted and it was like friggin' Moses and he just walked into the end zone. But it's not that. It's like, hey, again, if you're not going to cover half the field and you're not going to spy Jalen Hurts, freaking
He's
run.
just going to take off. Yeah.
Just
let him go.
It's much easier to literally walk down the sidelines like he did in this past week and try and fit in between two defenders.
But that's what he knows. That's what he knows best. Mm-hmm. That's been a weapon of his from day one. But what the difference is that weapon should never go away. That part of your arsenal should never go away. What you have to do is get better at the things that you're not as good at. And that was in the pocket, throwing the football within the pocket, right? And that's the thing he's gotten better with. That's just factual. So that's not up for debate with the public. That's factual information that we just gave you, okay? That's real. So he's gotten better at that because we talked about these numbers on Monday, all right? We talked about all the numbers. We broke them down. He's gotten drastically better at throwing the football. So the fact that that's gotten better, and then people want to keep talking about running. You're so stuck on one thing. Sometimes in football games, you got to do that. You have to do different things because you're a winning quarterback. This is what I hate about people. The quarterback position as a whole is probably the most narcissistic position in all of pro sports. You understand? Biggest narcissists are quarterbacks. Okay, because most of the time, it's all about them. It's about their numbers, their stats, their fame, right? You look at the ones that won, really won, wasn't about that. Wasn't about that. It was about winning. It was about winning. And I'm not comparing him to Brady. I'm not saying this, but I'm talking about winning a lot of football games. The quarterbacks that usually win a lot of football games are freaking leaders. Are leaders. Look what happened with Zach Wilson in New York. There was literally players that, and I'm not telling you he's a franchise quarterback when he was drafted to be one, right? There's literally players that were liking stuff that was negative towards him on Twitter because they're like, this guy ain't a leader. And, when you look at Jalen's respected all around that complex.
Yeah.
So that's that's so different. Carson had all
mentality.
Yeah, Carson had all the skills in the world. But when after Carson got hurt, he stopped being a leader. Then leadership went away. But when you look around the league, like look at all the winning guys. I mean, Rodgers was a leader for a long time, right? Before he started rubbing people the wrong way. But he was a leader for a while. But I mean, the list goes on. Peyton, the great ones that not only put up numbers because they were special, but won a lot of football games and postseason games. They're the ones you have to look at, right?
You see what happened to Russell Wilson, both in Seattle and obviously happening already in Denver.
Because he wasn't a leader.
No, the act got real. It's like and again, we do not cover the Seattle Seahawks, so we're looking at it from a very distant. Did he really just make that shot? Oh no, he missed. No. Thank God. But it was probably a situation. If I had to guess and use context clues, this is probably how he always was. But in the early stages of his career, they were winning. Legion of Boom. And even then, if you go back, the defense hated him. It was a divided locker room, even when they were winning. When they were winning playoff games, going to Super Bowls, not running it on the 1 yard line with Marshawn Lynch, all that stuff. And then it's like, we start losing some pieces. We start losing football games. Now, all of a sudden, we're not going to put up with your nonsense anymore. And you're seeing that with Denver because obviously he's not the same quarterback. He doesn't run the football as much. He doesn't throw the football as good as he once did. And they're one of the worst, if not the worst, football team in the league right now. So it's all about, hey, what are you going to do? And I also, players are dumb. They know which quarterbacks know what they're doing and which don't. You know what I'm saying? It's a trust factor thing. No matter how talented you are, can you use that talent?
No, for sure. I mean, it's about respect. It's about, like I said, it's the most narcissistic position in all sports. So when you look at that, you're like, well, is this guy different? Is this guy genuine? Is this guy real? Does this guy care? Right? And they all look at that. We always talk about like certain things, like the guy who gets paid the most money or the guy who sits at the podium first, right? All those things matter. All those guys look at those things, right? And they look at what they say because in today's world, you get it even quicker. You get the quotes quicker. You get the videos quicker from pressers, right? And they see what guys think. They see how guys represent themselves. And then outside of that presser, how are you representing yourself around the locker room, right? And that stuff all matters when you're the most important position in all sports too, essentially, right? When it's got the biggest binoculars on them.
Yep.
So
Biggest spotlight.
we're lucky to have a kid that it's not all about him. Now you just hope, and I don't see why it wouldn't, right? You just hope that it stays that way, right? And that's all the hope is, that it continues, because Russ probably wasn't all about Russ. I mean, I talked to the guy who did my the title company for my house. He was an All-American soccer player, and he had a dorm room right next to Russ. And he said, man, he said he's changed, right? And that happens with money, though, right? That happens with fame, the guys. Some guys, it changes, right? When you look at Brady, it never changed him. That's the difference. Like, he got supermodel wife, all that stuff, but it never changed look what happened. Divorce happened because it never changed how bad he wanted to win. Because winning came first at the end of the day. That's why guys, when he said he was going to Tampa, right? That's why guys rushed to play with him. You think he's not respected? And I'm not going to sit here and give him handies all night, but that's the GOAT, dude. When guys rush to play with you at over 40, that says a lot.
Gronkowski came out of retirement twice.
Guy's body's broken. I mean, Gronk's body is broken. And he said, Tommy, you need me, I'm there. Right? I mean, that's exactly what they said to each other, too, because Gronk said that. Whatever you need, Tommy. Last time, though. Right? And he goes out because his body is broken down from all the hits that he took. So that matters. Like AJ, and then you go get AJ. Now, AJ didn't sign here per se, but he did, right? Because then they gave him money after the fact, after they traded for him. But his idea to stay here was why? And AJ's not perfect, but because of his love for Jalen.
Well, the FaceTime call. They were on FaceTime with each other because it got posted to Jalen's Twitter. You know what I'm saying? They were FaceTiming each other like 30 seconds after that trade went down on draft.
This guy's different, Ralph. This kid's different in terms of what you can never measure. Right? We talk about there's measurables at the combine and there's not. When you look at his measurables at the combine, you're not going to get wowed by anything. What you're going to get wowed with is the leadership. The leadership wows you, and it's still wowing you. Now, does he have things that he can run, he's strong, all those measurables I get, right? Supposedly the arm strength isn't what it looks on, when you're watching, he can throw it, he can spin it, right? All that stuff is fine. But every quarterback coming out has those things for the most part, right? But what's upstairs? What kind of leader are you? What kind of teammate are you? All those things matter. You don't have to be the biggest rah-rah leader, but are you a great teammate? Are you unselfish?
Taking it full circle, like with the running thing, you'll never hear me bitch and complain about him running, except for the fact that it's my fear of him getting hurt. That's the only time I'll complain about it.
Right. That's what we talked about on Monday, right, Ralph? We were saying, like, hey, I don't mind you running the football, but don't take unnecessary hits. Like, I don't need you acting like a running back. Like, you and Josh Allen play the same way. All right, you want to run everybody over. Calm down. When I watch Bills games, I'm like, Josh, would you please slide, dude?
Yeah, just slide once in a while, please, Jalen.
Josh Allen runs over corners. Josh Allen runs over corners, and you're still like, Josh, would you get down? Because you're a good player. We don't want to see you get hurt. Jalen, same way. Let's just get down, babe. There ain't nothing to go here. Boys, I gotta go piss, but read some comments for a second, and then we'll come back. We'll give our predictions, and we'll go our locks, and we'll get out of here.
Okay. Let me see here. Umberto says the improvement in decision making is why, despite his stats, I have above Mahomes for MVP. Mahomes threw 2 games away, wasn't even our guys' fault in our one loss. Ralphie, if gun to head, try and take the bias outside of it, because as much as I did on Monday, because Tom and I talked about it. Who's your MVP right now?
Man,
that was my reaction too.
Take the bias out of it.
Yes. Which I know is impossible. It's impossible.
Jalen is playing such good football right now. But I just feel like the guy they're gonna pick is Josh Allen.
Whoa.
For some reason, I think America's gonna go Josh Allen.
So
I think it's just the face he's got. He's he's just that guy. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I don't know.
You know how the voting. No. You know how voting goes, right?
No, we're not talking about the cover of Vogue, Ralph. We're talking about the MVP now.
I think Josh got it, but I can't be biased, right? I just can't. Because if
So
I see,
you're saying he's going to get it because he's pretty? Is that what you're? Is that
no,
what
no.
you're saying?
What I'm saying is that I think Josh is just playing out of his mind as well. I think Mahomes, Hurts, and Allen are both playing out of their mind.
Yeah, I see. I'll disagree with you. I think, listen, if Mahomes gets it, I'll be like, okay, fine. If Josh Allen gets it, I'm throwing things because that guy is single-handedly cost them 3 football games. Maybe not 3 because their defense sucked in a couple games. But he has not been good, Ralph. And I don't know if he still leads the league in interceptions.
I don't know. He
leads the league in interceptions, Ralph. I'm pretty sure he does.
That's okay. That's okay, and they're still playing good football.
Ralph, you can't win the MVP leading the league in interceptions. That's like not allowed. Come on, Ralph.
Listen,
come on now. Hold on, let me see. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm just trying to go a different route because I think everybody was going to say Jalen.
Well, go Tua. Go Tua then. Don't go Josh Allen.
Oh my God, Tua.
What, is he not pretty enough for you? Is Tua not pretty enough?
Jesus Christ.
Well, you brought up the face. I didn't know if we were doing face rankings. Yeah, your MVP, Josh Allen, Ralphie. He's tied with Davis effing Mills with 11 interceptions in the league. He has more interceptions than Matt Ryan, Ralphie. Come on, Ralph.
Well, Matt Ryan's also got benched for 2 weeks.
That's
so if Matt Ryan plays for 2 weeks, Matt Ryan probably has more interceptions than Josh Allen. You know that for a fact.
That's your counter argument to me?
That is my counter argument. I'm going to stick with it. Because Matt Ryan stinks. Matt Ryan is horrendous.
Listen, that's the first thing that you've said in a while that I agree with. So we'll move on a high note. No, Glizzy, I don't think he is. I think he got caught off guard with the question and he panicked. And he went to the pretty famous Josh Allen. You can read this one.
Oh, Kelly Oubre, future Laker.
Yeah, downtown. Don't say that too loud. Listen, there might be a trade coming. There might be a trade. After their big triumphant win against the Milwaukee Bucks over here. In the did Chris Middleton play, by the way, Ralphie?
Yes, he did, and we still won.
Did he do anything?
Nah, I have no idea. No. I was too busy worrying about dumbass bullshit that we had to go through for 3 hours. So, yeah, yeah. So I have no idea how Chris Middleton did, but all I know is Lakers won. We went into Milwaukee and won, baby.
Don. Answers, if you guys have any questions, by the way, throughout the show, let us know. He says, do you all think the NFC East,
yes.
all the teams in the NFC East?
I think they do. Well, the NFC East is probably the best division in football right now.
You take
easily
them over
one
the
of the
AFC
best divisions in football.
You would take us over the AFC East? With the Pats, Dolphins, Jets, and Bills?
Yeah, because I don't think the Pats are for real, man. No, I really don't.
Mac Jones stinks.
Yeah, I don't think they're for real. And I think right now the NFC East is the most competitive division right now, and in football right now.
Well, let's do some quick math, okay? And I know this is a little off because certain teams have played more and less, but whoever. So the Bills have 9 plus 8, that's 17, plus 7, which is 24, plus 6, which is 30. So they have 30 combined wins in the AFC East. In the NFC East, you have the Eagles with 10, Cowboys with 8, so that's 18, Giants at 7, so that's 25, and then the Commanders at 7 and that would make it 32. So they have more combined wins. Don, to answer your question. So you look at it and you say, okay, right now you obviously have all 4 teams penciled in. Eagles are locked to make the playoffs, obviously. It's just a matter of what seed they are. If it's not, let's say, the Giants and the Commanders, who is it? It's nobody else in the North. Would you agree, Ralphie? Like, you think no offense, Don, Lions aren't making a run to make it. Packers are dead.
The Packers are dead in the water.
And the Bears are the Bears. Done. So,
and the Bears have sucked since week 2.
So you're looking at the Vikings. They are either going to be the 1 seed or the 2 seed, most likely 2, hopefully the number 2 seed. So they're in. So they could be the 2 seed. Nobody else is coming out of the North. The South, you would say right now.
Well, there's only could be one in the South right now. As
correct.
We speak.
And let's just pretend that
who is leading the South right now? Tampa?
It's technically the Bucs because they're 5-6 and the Falcons are 5-7. So,
that's
but again,
a great division.
Oh, it's phenomenal. So whoever wins that, they're penciled in for the 4th seed, regardless. Then you obviously look at the West. It's most likely going to be the 49ers as, what would that be, the 3 seed. So that's your top 4.
Yeah,
Eagles,
because then
Vikings,
the 2nd seed would be the Vikings, and then we would be number 1, yeah.
Yeah, so it's Eagles, Vikings, 49ers, and then obviously, let's say the Buccaneers.
And then you would also think too that the Giants are probably going to get more than 10 wins, or probably at least get 10 wins. And you know for a fact the Cowboys are going to get more than 10 wins because whether like it or not, the Cowboys are rolling, right? I mean, they have a great 1-2 punch right now in the backfield with Pollard and Elliott, and they are just rolling right now.
So, and I was waiting for this.
And that's
Hello,
three
Bill.
teams in one division right there that make it. So you just got to hope that for that question is that, Washington just keeps it rolling for them as well.
Well, so you say, okay, you say the Giants, because you look at their final schedule, right? They are at 7 right now. So hypothetically, for them to get to your,
they just need to win 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So they need to win. They need to go 500 for the remaining, 6 games. They are home against the Commanders on Sunday. Then they are home against us. Then they are, in FedEx Field against the Commanders. They go to Minnesota. They come home against the Colts, and then on the road against the Eagles, hopefully in a game against us where it won't matter. We already have the 1 seed locked. Then Bill brings up the Seattle Seahawks. So you have 3 teams hypothetically battling for 2 spots in the NFC for the final 2 spots.
Yeah.
Giants, the Commanders, and the Seattle Seahawks. Cardinals dead, Rams dead. We already talked about, obviously, the South. As amazing and comical as it would be for the Falcons to beat out the Buccaneers for that division, it's most likely going to be the Buccaneers just based off of sheer talent, which means the other 3 teams are probably out. So then you say, okay, who has a better chance? If we're penciling in the Giants, right, we both agree that while they're kind of shuffling right now, they're probably going to be in, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
So then you look at the Commanders' schedule. They're also at 7. They only have 5 more games left. They are at the Giants, like I mentioned. And they have a bye week. Then they play the Giants again after the bye week. So they play the Giants back-to-back, which is stupid.
Yeah.
And they go to the Niners. Tough game. Home against the Browns with Deshaun Watson. Tougher game. Than it would have been with Jacoby Brissett. And then they are home against the Cowboys. So not the easiest of schedules, honestly. But then you look at the
Giants one is tough.
I think they are the hardest. It's the
that is
hardest one.
That is hard, bro. That's hard.
So then let's look at the
because you're going
Seahawks.
Up against. Let me. I just gotta see this.
They're literally facing the NFC East. I think they face us twice. They face the Cowboys again and the Commanders twice. And then I think they also play Minnesota and the Colts. So I think it's like the NFC East.
Yeah, they literally got the gauntlet right now. They literally got the gauntlet right now of all playoff teams outside of Indianapolis.
All right, so let's look at the Seahawks schedule, right? And if anyone's just joining us and you're wondering, like, why are you talking about the Seahawks? We're talking about, like, are the NFC East teams, can we just say, like, okay, they're probably all going to make the playoffs? So the Seattle Seahawks, who they sit at, how many wins do they have? 7, I want to say? 7. 6. So they're at 6. So they are at a 1-game disadvantage.
Yeah, they're 6-5.
So they're at a 1-game disadvantage behind the Giants and the Commanders. So you look at them, all right? So you say, okay, they actually have to make up a game somewhere. You have home against the Panthers. Or no, I'm actually wrong. That's their second game. They go to the Rams.
Yeah, and the Rams are Seattle should win this Sunday. The Rams are banged up.
So that takes them to 7.
I don't think they have Cooper Kupp. I don't think they have Matt Stafford's not coming back. Yeah, the Rams are pretty much done. Right. I think the only guy that's out in that's noticeable for the Rams right now is Ramsey.
So, okay, you look at that. You say, okay, the Seattle Seahawks, they make up a game this week, say against the Rams, right? Because obviously that's a favorable matchup. Then
that's
they come
7-5.
Yes. Then they come home against the Panthers. You would say
realistically,
really
they should win back-to-back games here.
Yes. So then they get to 8 wins. Little bump in the road, Thursday Night Football, home against the Niners.
Yeah, that's
probably a loss.
That's 2 straight losses right there.
Well,
you got to play the 49ers. You're going to play the 49ers on a Thursday and then come back next week and play the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Yeah, that's tough, man.
So you make up some grounds, and then it's like, remember those 2 weeks where we were having fun? Yeah, take me back to that, please. Then the following 2 weeks to finish out your year, you have home against the Jets. I don't know what the hell the Jets are. They have a great defense.
Yeah,
I love their coach.
It could be who's it now? Mike White, Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
whoever's starting over there in New York.
The artist formerly known as Zach Wilson,
what a drop off for the Jets, though, huh? Jesus.
Drop off? What do you mean?
Well, they were playing so well, weren't they? Like 6-3 at one point.
What are they now? What are they now?
I think.
I think they're still fine. I mean, they're the Jets. I mean, we have a low bar. I mean, anytime they have more than 2 wins, they're 7-4. Ralph, come on now.
Yeah, but it's not the same. They're not the same team, though, man. They're 7-4 They're a 7-4 football team that have no idea what the fuck's going on over there.
They just blew out the Bears. What do you want?
It's the fucking Bears.
It's Mike White mania. What do you want? It's Mike White mania.
It's the Bears.
Oh, listen, we'll be saying it's the Bears in a couple weeks, and we better be saying the same thing as Mike White said.
Give me a break.
Come on now. No, listen, you put up 10. You put up 3 against the Jets. That was the Zach Wilson Bowl. It wasn't great. You beat the Bills. You lost to the Patriots again, but that's, you beat the Broncos. You beat the Packers. You beat the Dolphins without Tua.
Listen, motherfucker. The Jets are 7-4, but they're not a 7-4 football team, if that makes sense.
So you're saying that they're Fugazi.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Dude, they change quarterbacks more than I change my fucking underwear, and that's fucking bad.
Thank you for the visual. I don't.
There you
I'm not
go.
sleeping tonight. That's a shame. Now, listen, I'm not a Jets guy. I don't care.
My God! Of course, you're a Jets guy. You love Zach Wilson, the MILF hunter. He's a MILF hunter.
First off, the fact that he left the girlfriend that he had we're not doing this.
No, bring it up because now.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Have a little respect, Zach Wilson. Okay, you can't play football. Have a little bit of damn respect. A little bit of respect.
Wow,
that's all.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Glizzy. Man. Like I'm on Glizzy's side. They're solid.
Jets
it's a big year.
Okay, listen, the Jets. Okay, the Jets are a 7-4. Oh, shut up, Don.
So
you always
gotta
talk shit about the Lakers.
No, they're the Lakers.
Listen, we went into Milwaukee tonight and won. All right, it is what it is. I'm on my high horse right now.
Oh, regular season wins are big for the Lakers now.
Absolutely. Absolutely, when we're trying to ship Russ out, anyone's got to.
Did he have a good night tonight? Did he play well?
I think so. I'm not too sure. I was dealing with
I don't know. You were talking bad about him when he came in at the beginning. You're like, 11-point lead. That's going down to 7.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it happens, So back on the Jets, 7-4. They're not the same team, guys. They're not the same team.
Can I finish up with my Seattle schedule?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I don't know how we got into it.
And they finished out with the Rams, by the way, which is a win.
So Seattle should be in. They should be in. Because they've got 4 winnable games out of 6.
So then what's the 7 teams then in the NFC for you?
Listen, I am in trouble because I went on record a few weeks ago and I said the Giants will be making the playoffs. But if I'm going by schedule, the Giants might be in trouble. And the funny thing is, you know who controls whether or not they get in the playoffs? Us, because we play them twice. If we want to be real about ourselves. Tom, you missed our Jets conversation.
I'm glad.
Tom, do you think
Jets are a 7-4 football team. They're a good football team, Tommy.
Yeah, they're solid. Yeah.
Come on.
Thank you. That's all.
They do no.
They're solid.
They are such frauds, dude. They are such frauds.
I don't know.
Frauds.
Yeah, I mean,
Ryan brings up the deal that they blew out the Bears. It seems like every team in the league blows out the Bears.
You said, what have they done lately? And Jeremiah, I'm not a Jets guy. I was being facetious.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not a Jets guy.
He is a Jets guy.
No, I'm a Sauce Gardner guy, if we're going to be real.
There we go.
Yeah, Don, I mean, listen, we're trying to
I'll be by myself. That's all right. That's all right. I'll be by myself.
See, Greg, that's all I'm saying, Greg. That's all I'm saying. No, Tom, we were talking about whether or not all 4 teams
Isn't Hall out for the season?
It's the ghost of Breece Hall. That's what he's talking about.
Gotcha.
We were talking about whether or not all 4 NFC East teams, can we just pencil them in to make the playoffs? And we were saying, like, it's going to be interesting for the Giants.
Giants got a tough stretch.
Yeah, and Seattle's got some winnable games.
I mean, Giants are going through the gauntlet of gauntlets.
Bill's putting his stamp on it.
Yeah, I don't know if they're guaranteed.
Yeah, they won't make it. They'll lose every game now. Good job.
They're sort of smoke and mirrors too, in a way. But no, that bottom part should be interesting a little bit for sure. On what happens there. You guys want to give our Eagles picks and
hell yeah.
I'll have defense part of the game, and then we'll run through the slate and we'll call it a night after everything we've been through. So yeah, I see you guys all seen it. I think I seen your guys, but we all put ours out. Around tomorrow. So I had 27-24 Eagles. As much as like the field's changed a little bit in terms of where I think we could, I don't want to say roll them, but we could win this game going away where we feel good about it. As much as that's like, I feel better about saying that's a good possibility, but I still think it's a dogfight because of who you're going up against and just their style where they keep everything close. So I'm going to stick with 27-24, a late Jake Elliott field goal for the win. How about that?
Nice.
How about that? And let's see how people complain after this game, because we're going to win again. We're going to go 11-1, and we're still going to get complaints.
So I have Jalen Hurts game-winning drive clinching it for us, throwing the football, so everybody can say like, "Oh, that final drive doesn't count because he ran the football."
Well, they're going to still say it. They're going to still say because those types of people will look for a way.
What about the drive against Indianapolis? Great drive.
They'll say, "Oh, he doesn't have, they don't have corners, or they're blah 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 blah." Like somebody's always going to have something to say.
But I think it's going to be a situation where, it's going to get stressful in the early fourth quarter, maybe a Derrick Henry long touchdown run or something. Derrick Henry's going to get his, right? Like, I'm not going to go into it. Like, listen, we can win comfortably and Derrick Henry still gets his. That's just the way it goes with playing that guy. But I'm going to go with a lower score than I've had in previous weeks. I'm going to go 23-21 Birds.
Okay.
Close one. Ralphie?
Yeah. I'm going to go 17-13 Birds.
Ooh.
Yeah,
wow.
17-13.
A little what is that, 2018 playoff game against the Falcons type score.
Yeah. Julio still stepped out, even if he caught the ball.
Offensive player of the game. I'm gonna go with Devontae Smith. I mean, it's probably easy to go AJ Brown. I know a lot of people are probably gonna go AJ, and I get it. There's a lot of revenge game and all that. So I'll stay away from the easy one. And I'll go with the other guy. Maybe they try to really do everything in their power to not let him beat them, right? Because of the same reason why he wants to beat them, right? So maybe they, I don't want to say take him away because he's a stud. It's hard to take studs away, but maybe the other guy eats a lot, and it looks like their chemistry should always be good because they played together, but they also didn't play together for a year. Right, and they played together again. So there was a period where they didn't play together, Jalen and Devontae. So it looks like they're starting to get back on that a little rhythm together.
Go ahead, Ralphie. I'll go last. I'm looking at
he's been playing so well throughout this season. I'm gonna go Miles Sanders, man. Miles Sanders, give me 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns from Miles.
Can't argue it.
I was convinced you were going to go. All right, I'll go AJ then. I mean, that's a great pick, Ralphie, so I'm not criticizing it. So here's a key thing, and I know, like, some of the stat junkies, not even the stat junkies. Remember we were talking on Monday, Tom, like, instead of it just being like a defensive ends, people want to call it like edge rusher, to where like we're adding all these additional names or whatever to players. I think if they put AJ Brown in the slot again, like we've seen a little bit more now that Dallas Goedert's been out, I think that's obviously really important, but I think it could really be beneficial because their nickel cornerback, Molden, on the Titans, is out. So they already don't have a ton of guys that can really cover AJ. But now they're banged up back there. So aside from, like, I could just go with AJ Brown because it's a revenge game. But I don't think their starting nickel corner could stop him. Now their starter's out. I'll go with him. I'll say 2 touchdowns for Brown.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's a stud, so it's hard to stop. Vrabel's a good defensive coordinator in terms of that. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if I was watching this USC-Utah game. I
forgot that was on.
He just got blown up. His helmet went flying off. Oh, my goodness. And a flag, of course. And a flag.
Probably targeting, right?
I don't think so.
Fucking USC's fucking losing, man.
I think he just got smoked. Is
that fucking Gardner Minshew's fucking brother?
It looks just like him, right?
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
Looks just like him.
What channel?
It's on Fox.
Fox. So I'll say
Gardner. Is that you?
Defense player of the game. I'm gonna go a little different. I'm gonna go Kaiser White. We haven't really heard a ton from him recently. But with guys being out, maybe it's a guy who can make some plays on Sunday. See, I don't think that was targeting. That's like right below the chin.
That can't be targeting.
That's
no
just
shot.
That's just you got laid out, dude.
That guy looks like he belongs in the Arena League. I don't know why. He does.
That's just a good hit. That's to the chest. That's to the chest. That's a good hit. His helmet was already coming off. His helmet was already coming off. It makes it look worse. He just got lit up. Look at this again. Look at this. He just gets lit up. It looked like he was.
It's my first time seeing it now.
Yeah, that's a clean hit, dude.
Yeah, no, he's going into his chest. He's going right here.
Of course, they gave him a first down over it. Wow. Yeah, so that's my defense part of the game.
Go ahead, Ralphie.
Defensive player of the game. He comes back off an injury. Give me Jordan Davis.
Oh, so you think they're gonna play him? Like
Yes,
you
sir.
think there's full throttle?
I think so.
Oh man, I part of me really wanted to get cute and go with the Blankenship, but I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do it. I'll go with Hassan Reddick. Honestly, they're banged up. They're banged up on the O-line. Again, when Jonathan Gannon lets Hassan Reddick be Hassan Reddick, he has a pulse in the game. I almost wanted to go with Hargrave, but I think it's honestly going to come from the outside and the edges. So give me Hassan. Hopefully he's not playing, coverage cornerback too much on Sunday to where he can actually go after the quarterback.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, let's run through the slate of games.
Alrighty.
It's a good hit.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that hit. Nothing wrong with it. Let me see. I gotta pull up okay. I do not know our records because we haven't done it in a few weeks, and also Frank is not here, so we will be revisited with the records with our locks the next week. Okay, so we start off obviously with our game. Titans travel to Philly. The Eagles are 4.5-point favorites. Over under set at 44.
Well, I guess because of the line, I would have to say the Titans then cover.
Same. Ralphie?
Yeah, Titans cover.
Any locks in this game or anybody?
No.
All right. Next game. Ralphie's Jets travel to the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings only a 3-point favorite in this game. Over under set at 44.5.
Give me the Vikings, please.
Yeah, give me the Jets.
Do you think that line's weird, Tom? That it's only a 3-point favorite for a home Vikings team.
Yeah.
Mike White is playing.
Yep, that's why. Give me the Jets. Actually, lock this.
All right, Ralph or Frank. Frank, if you're listening. Next game. Yeah, I'm not locking this. I'm going Jets. I'm putting some respect on their name, Ralphie. All right. Next game. Cleveland Browns travel to Houston. It is the Deshaun Watson reunion game.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, great. I know. Mark it on your calendars. The Browns are 7-point favorites. Over under set at 46.5.
Read it again.
Give me the fucking Texans. Fuck the Browns.
Browns 7-point favorites at Houston, Tom.
Give me
under
the Texans.
set at 46.5.
Give me the Browns. Give me the Browns. Texans stink.
I got to go Browns. They're not even playing a quarterback. I don't even know who their backup is. What, Kyle Allen? All right, big NFC East game. Commanders traveling to the Giants. Commanders are a 2-point road favorite. Over under set at 40.5.
Washington.
Yeah.
I agree.
Give me Washington.
Next game. You have the Denver Broncos. After he fought with his teammate on the sideline, traveling to the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens 9.5-point favorites. Over under set at 39.5.
Baltimore might fucking blow them out.
Ravens can't blow anybody out. That's the problem. They can't hold leads.
Well, yeah, they'll be up by 24 and blow it.
Problem is the Broncos can't score more than 17 points.
Yeah.
Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, I got to go Ravens. If they blow a lead to this team, then just disqualify yourself from the playoffs. I'll also lock Ravens on this game. The Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Detroit. The Lions are 1-point favorites.
Two teams I really like.
Yeah.
Give me the Lions.
Over
Give me the
under set at
Lions.
51, by the way.
Give me Jacksonville after that performance. Sorry, Don. You know, that's an emotional
Oh,
win.
yeah. You know what? Don wants to talk shit all night. Yeah, give me Jacksonville. I switch. Give me Jacksonville.
No locks, just the Jags.
Yeah, I'll go Jags as well. No lock. Sorry, Don. Clean sweep.
Yeah. Dan
Which could be-
Campbell
listen,
cries
could be a
5
good-
times on the sideline and 3 times in the presser.
Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons also a 1-point favorite against the Steelers. Over under set at 43.
What do we say about Atlanta? What do we say about Atlanta, Ralphie? Always cover. Give me the Falcons,
No,
baby.
the cover gods of Atlanta. I think that's the only thing they're good for this year. Is they cover.
That's it, man. They cover. They're gonna win that
Yeah,
game by
you know
2.
what? I'm gonna ride it. Give me Atlanta to cover. Give me that. Give me Atlanta.
Falcons up. Rise up. Rise up. Hashtag.
Believe
rise
in
up.
Mariota. Believe in Mariota to cover.
I was talking about the Falcons earlier about this game, and somebody was like, "Oh, well, aren't you worried about the Falcons because Kyle Pitts is out?" I'm like, "They don't throw the ball to Kyle Pitts anyway.
Yeah.
Who cares? He's been on
I think
IR.
it was like 7 straight weeks. Kyle Pitts like didn't even get a touchdown. Yeah,
He's been on
It's
IR the
something.
entire time. You kidding me? Yeah, give me the Falcons. Pittsburgh sucks. Next game, the Packers traveling to Chicago. The Packers. This shows how bad the Bears are. The Packers are 3.5 point road favorites. Over under set at 45.5.
Who's playing quarterback for?
it's a great question.
Rogers.
He's playing.
That's according to him on the McAfee
Wow.
show. He
A
said he's
ribbon, a
playing.
thumb, huh?
He just doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to lose his spot to Jordan.
The
You
bet
know?
for them is to bench him. That way they can see what Jordan Love is because they have to pick up his 5th-year option this offseason.
Isn't that crazy? It's already been 5 years for him. About to be 5.
Flies when you're being benched,
Jeez.
Ralphie. Time flies when you're being benched.
Jeez,
It's about to be Trey Lance's 3rd year.
I
Isn't
know.
that crazy?
And he hasn't even sniffed the field.
Well, he did, and
Consistently.
then his knee blew up.
Yeah, true. True.
And Justin Fields is going to play, or at least he's expected to play.
Give me the Packers. Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. He even said it when he scored a touchdown.
Yeah, give me
I
the
own you.
Packers somehow. I guess.
I own you.
I have no idea. I have no idea. You know what? Yeah, give me. What's the line again? 3.5.
3.5.
Give me the Packers cover. Lock that. I have no reason for that. Besides, it's the Bears.
Oh, I'll give you a big reason. That is the Bears secondary is maybe the worst in the NFL. Like Christian Watson, whatever the over is in his yards, take it.
Yeah, maybe they'll spy this week, Green Bay. So give me the Packers cover.
Yeah, give me the Packers.
Lock it.
I am so excited for this game, and I'm so happy it's a 405er, so it doesn't run against the Eagles. Dolphins at the Niners. Niners, 4-point favorites, over under 46.5.
Give me the Dolphins.
Dolphins, lock it.
We're gonna find out exactly how good the Niners are in this game. Because if you can shut down that offense, I already think the Niners are the second best team in the NFC. But if they shut down them, because they haven't allowed a second half point to any opponent, I think in the last 4 games, at least the last 3.
I think they're 3rd or 4th. I'm not far away. I think Minnesota's better than them, and I think them and Dallas are close. Just to be fair to Minnesota, right? In terms of their record.
What does this bill? Ryan, you have that backwards. You can't bench Rodgers to see what Love has because the Packers have. It's the trade. No, Bill, it's the trade. It's the. I'm thinking trades, Bill. It's the trade Love because you got to make a decision on extending him or picking up that 5th-year option. So if he can play, all right, let's pick up his option and try to trade him. If he stinks, don't pick up the option. They're not trading Rodgers.
I think it's bigger than that. I just think Rodgers isn't going to let him play.
Oh, I agree with you.
If Rodgers can stand up and walk, he's going to play so he doesn't allow that to happen. And there's enough. Listen, he was a 1st-round pick. There's enough there to trade him where you don't have to play him to showcase him either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they know if he can play.
There's always desperate teams out there.
Yeah, and they know if he can play or not, and he probably can, knowing their history.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Rodgers won't allow that to happen on an injury where he'll never see his job again there. I think they have a better chance to trade Rodgers to somebody desperate, after the year. Let somebody else eat the money.
I have a scenario where he gets traded to the Buccaneers because Tom Brady goes to Vegas. Would make sense.
Not a mushroom down there.
But yeah, Bill, it's more so to package love, because if I'm the Packers, I'm looking at, okay, Matt Ryan got what in a trade? Carson Wentz got what in a trade? You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of moving pieces now where it's like mini NBA, and there's a lot of moving and shaking where it's like, oh, okay, this is a guy who isn't 35 years old, and Jordan Love, and if he looks good, maybe a team that's desperate will take him instead of reaching on a guy in the third round. Yeah, I'm gonna go Dolphins here, by the way. Let's see. The Seattle Seahawks travel to the LA Rams. Seattle, 7-point favorites, over under 41.
Give me Seattle. Rams literally have nobody. No, like I said before, the only relevant guy they have right now that's suiting up is Ramsey. Seattle's gonna win this game.
Yeah, Seattle.
Yeah, they don't even have Aaron Donald either.
No, he's out. He's missing his first game of his career.
Yeah, give me the Seahawks. John Wolford doesn't do anything for me. Sorry, Rams fans. The Chiefs traveling to Cincinnati. Chiefs. This is another weird line to me. Chiefs, 2-point road favorite, over under 52.5.
Yeah, Chiefs lock.
I agree.
Give me Cincinnati. Give me Cincinnati. Yep.
So you think why am I blanking on his name? Jamar Chase. You think Jamar Chase is going to have a return game?
Yep.
Okay.
Give me Cincinnati, please.
Yeah, Bill Gino's been good. I don't know if they'll move forward with him as their starter because I think he's 33 or 32. So
yeah, it's a good story for him for sure.
There'll be a team that's desperate that'll give him a 2-year contract.
Playing winning football, like we talked about before. You know.
2 more games. Or I'm sorry, I lied. 3 more games. The LA Chargers travel to the Raiders. The Raiders, 1-point favorite, over under 50.
Give me the Raiders.
Give me the Chargers.
Chargers.
Give me the Raiders.
2 more. Sunday Night Football. I hate that this is a Sunday Night Football game. The Colts.
The Broncos? Back on prime time.
No, this might be worse, Ralphie, because it's a team we hate and a team who stinks. The Indianapolis Colts travel to Dallas.
Wow, so the Colts get back-to-back primetime games, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, look at them moving up in the world.
Yeah, Jeff Saturday, Jeff Sunday.
Yeah.
Dallas, 10.5-point favorites,
Give me
over
the Cowboys,
under
man.
Set 44.5. Cowboys.
Give me Dallas.
That Jeff Saturday shit was so cute for 2 weeks. Give me Dallas, please.
You know the only reason why they didn't flex this game out of Sunday Night Football is
because of the story. It's the story.
Well, and to show because they want to highlight the Cowboys. Oh, America's team, they're back. Give me the Cowboys, though. They're pretty good. And finally, a game which is the most mid-type game ever, Ralphie. I know you'll like that term. The New Orleans Saints travel to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, 3.5-point favorites, over under set at 40.
That's the Monday night game this week?
Yeah.
Give me Tampa. We need that top 5 pick. Fuck the Saints.
Give me Tampa.
Give me Tampa. And that concludes our slate, and there is no 5-team parlays or 5-player parlays because Greg is not here.
All right, boys, let's get to 11-1 this weekend. Everybody get excited, get ready for Eagles football. You want to come down to the tailgate, La Chi, Wells Fargo, $35 wristbands. All you can eat, all you can drink. Starts at 8 a.m. Come join us down there. Hope to see a lot of you.
Drinking all day.
Yeah, for Ralphie Delvecchio, Ryan Brutto, I'm Tom Arno. We'd like to thank FanUp for sponsoring tonight's show.
Buck Wirecast as well.
Yep, and Restream. And FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D. You get $50 right at sign up. FanUp. You can download them right on the Apple Store. Great show, boys. Everybody out there, we can't thank you enough for commenting, listening, everything you bring to the table. We love you all. We out.
Say it one more time, Ralph.